3rd, 2011, and I forgot to pay rent again. And the worst part is that now that I have said that, my roommate watches Funday Monday, and he's going to find out tomorrow when he wakes up and watches it with cereal. Welcome to the Day 9 Daily, where we learn to be a better gamer with the exception of Mondays, where we dick around. What is so cool about today is that it is Team Monobattles. Team Monobattles, the ever most famous style of Funday Monday of all time. And the constraint is as follows. Play a 3v3 or 4v4 where you publicly announce the one unit that you will be making all game long. So, for instance, your team must decide things like perhaps we want to go Zealot Baneling Immortal. These are the sort of compositions that you have to worry about. And of course, you can't cheat if you go for Banelings. Please try not to have them as Zerglings for too long. We'll try to do a little bit of easing into it, but that's basically the whole daily. We're going to be going into an intro game in just a second. I just wanted to say that my hair looks great today. And also, I just had a delightful time at the Red Bull LAN, where I discovered the amazingness that is sugar-free Red Bull. I don't know if you've ever had this, but my shirt matches it so perfectly. And it gives me, perhaps not wings in a physical sense, but it certainly makes me feel like I'm a more interesting person. And I don't know if this has ever been the case for you, but for me, like coffee or green tea or something like that, once I've had it, I like myself more. So I'm literally consuming coffee in the middle of this daily. I'm sure there's some announcements I have to make this week. I don't really care. So let's just go right into Funday Monday, where I will let you know that two of the greatest games of StarCraft that I have ever seen are in today's daily. Let's go ahead and check out the intro game. For any of you who have never seen Team Monobattles, we have in the top, we have Kalesa and Violent Snail and Hakiro and Polaris. And these beautiful, suave, amazing individuals will be our first monobattlers of the day. Oh, I remember what it was. Some drivers messed up right before I went live, so it might crash. I don't care. I want to do this daily. If you're watching at home and you're seeing stuttering, this is totally my fault. If you're watching at home and it's live, I've already taken enough blame today, and I'm blaming you. So let's go ahead and look at the game. How does a monobattle work? How does indeed it go down? Let's go ahead and find out. We do have Phoenix from Violent Snail, Marines from Hakiro, Phoenix from Violent Snail again, who does not understand the difference between enter and shift enter and control enter. And then we have Kalesa saying Infestor, and then we have the only person who's having a good time in this entire thing, Archon! Or he's just going Ark on. By the way, did you guys ever do math class where you have like sine of x, but then there's the sinh function, sinh of x? Are you guys familiar with this? The hyperbolic sine function. I always pronounce this sin. There's something magical about a sustained H. You don't really see it in English very much. It's not like a bench is a bank. Have a seat at a park, I was on the bench. But Polaris is throwing that down. He's having a good time. He knows how to do it. Archon. Lulz. Minor typo. No typo about it. Yep, minor. Using commas, not a big deal. Of course, now people are talking about their favorite hyperbolic functions in chat. There's sine of h. There's cosinh. There's I think they all have names, like sine h is sinh, cosine h is cosinh. There's like cosecant h, which just looks like coochie, and that actually I don't think is appropriate to put on a math paper, but it's fine as long as your teacher is not really hip with the lingo and does not surf on Urban Dictionary. Now, if we just check out the coochie of X, I can't believe she's still calling. So we now see that Hakiro planting down his barracks, getting ready to go for none other than Marines. Polaris, the Archoning player. Violent Snail has to open Forge. He has Phoenix and Infestor here. Kalesa getting the double extractor before gas, so that way he can not only have enough gas to get Infestors, but also so that he can have exactly 7 drones mining minerals by the 3-minute mark. And oh, Born, oh no, doing it looks like a proxy gateway, and this is going to hurt. Especially for the viewers who are watching that idle proxy gate. Man, that actually stung to see. I'm going to proxy gate, and there it is. Now I'm going to build a zealot. Ouch, Born. Ugh. Let's actually go take a perusal at the enemies. We have down here, we have render, which is a verb he used to try to look tough. Bending is my ID. Yes, bending, render, hurt. Yes, these are names that are like faux tough. Render. Developing. We have Sergi, who's going for the infamous double barracks into absolutely no orbital command. We have Born, the proxier, and then we have Dan, in all caps Dan, who's getting cannon rushed by Violent Snail. Attaboy, Snail. So it looks like Born spending all his chrono boost, getting ready to do the proxy. And it looks like he's gathering some forces up. He will be joined by a pair of renderlings. And here he goes, Kalesa, moving out. Now getting that ultra-fast layer. No Stargate has yet been built. He's a little bit busy spending his resources elsewhere. But here comes the proxy. Go, there's cannons. Alright, check for expansions. Check for expansions. There's an expansion. Cancel the expansion. Yes, and move up. And again, cannons over here. Let's see if they can hold it off. And the question that I have is, during all of this, where on earth is Dan looking? Well, Dan looks like he has a little bit of his hands full because he's getting cannon rushed. Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. He's going to relocate over here. But in the meantime, we see that there's been a vicious assault at the front gates of the Hakiro Polaris complex, which not only describes perfectly their location on the minimap, but also sounds a lot like something out of the Magic the Gathering official rulebook. I don't know if you guys have actually ever read the official Magic the Gathering rulebook. I was kind of just interested in it recently, and for some reason, that sounds like a frickin' treaty between two rival nations, like reading through that thing. There's simple things, you know, like the stack and how instants work, and then they have, like, the Milton consequences, and that's like, what is this? And it's like some weird corner case that came up in a tournament. They kind of had to make a decision on the spot. It's like case law gets developed on the fly. It's the Stoker bromine compromise. And you're like, okay, it looks like I guess I can't cast Dark Ritual that many times if I run out of both our decks. And now we have the Hakiro Polaris complex in the bottom side. And it looks like Polaris can try to wall off with more cannons. He's doing the cannon wall, but Hakiro doing his best to stay alive, continuing to re-wall with photon cannons, and in the meantime, it looks like for every Hakiro that falls, another Dan shall be wounded additionally. Violent Snail really going apeshit with the cannon rush, going absolutely bonkers. Now, some of you are saying production tab, but you know what? No. I don't want to have the... Guys, look at how much data I can pull up on the screen. Isn't this great? Maybe I'll just alternate between these two tabs. Are you guys having fun? Do you guys like the tabs? Look, let me back up a little bit. Let's look at the last 10 seconds. You like the tabs? What else can we do? Let's look at the army tabs. How's that good? How about the spending tab? Oh, isn't this a useful bit of information? Don't you guys... How about this was full screen? You know what? How about I just close StarCraft 2 and open up Excel, and we can look at color-coded boxes with equations hidden behind them, creating other boxes with numbers. That sure is fun. I'm keeping this off. Back off. We now see Polaris building the cannon in his main. Hakiro continuing to contain himself properly. We have Violent Snail, who's just a vicious, brutal asshole moving at less than 1 millimeter an hour while cannon rushing. A Snail would build offensive buildings. Look at... Oh, Born is going to stop a cannon rush by building cannons in his own main after a proxy barracks. He's in good shape. Everything's going to be fine, but it looks like Lieutenant Dan going to knock down these destructible rocks. They see the base, but they figure it's most important to first kill the rocks before killing this obviously done expansion. So here they go. They're going to move in, and right now our monobattling team of Kalesa, Violent Snail, Hakiro, and Polaris is looking a bit grim, but that's fine. Never give up, never surrender. Keep expanding even while under overlords. And one thing I'm really excited about is that this makes a sideways happy face. 2 eyes, a nose, and a large mouth. And a kind of an ugly mole that really... Ugh. And it's kind of gas falling out of it. Oh my god. And now we have these kind of decorative unibrow photon cannons. The analogy maybe fell apart 30 seconds ago, but that's alright. We're seeing Akiro going for the 1-1 upgrades, everything looking quite good. Starting to get all the appropriate combat shield and everything, and now Kalesa starting to really go into the aggressive mode. He got these gas geysers up so early. I mean, he's actually almost halfway mined out at the 10-minute mark for both of them. But no matter how many expansions you hide, Born, Render, Sergi, and Dan will find you. Look at this. Look at this coordination. Are you guys ever this coordinated in a 4v4? Look, they're both attacking from 2 angles at the same time. I'm never, ever that good of a partner, ever in a 4v4, period. And any team, it could be a 2v2, and I'm like, I'm attacking. He's like, I don't have any guys yet. I'm like, I'm attacking. Hurry. Go, come on. Unbelievable. Incredible job right here. But it looks like Kalesa tries to get the fungal growths off. It doesn't work. Valera's trying to cannon his way into heroism, but we have the Phoenixes arriving right on time. They managed to kill off one Marauder, and if they wait long enough, they can kill a second one. Violent Snail can oversee the activities here before pulling out again. So now we see Hakiro going for the big Marine action. Looking quite good, getting another command center. More infestors being made by Kalesa, having a lot of money. He can transfer that to one of his buddies. Has a couple drones here, getting ready to hide expos. And meanwhile, Lieutenant Dan making himself some Marines, Marauders, has an expansion. Everything looking quite good down on the south side. But these 3 players will begin sharing their expansions. And again, this kind of miraculous coordination. I mean, they could be sharing control, but look at this. All 4 players moving together at once. Will the Monobattlers be able to work together with their unit composition of Phoenix, Infestor, Marine, Archon? Well, let's see if he can save his allies' command center. Oh, well, it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble. Ooh, there's a good fungal. There's another good fungal. He could burrow. He does so. He's gonna block his friend from landing, and now... Let's talk a little bit about the unit compositions, shall we? I wanted to take a moment to think before game about what would be optimal. Something like Queen Ultralisk. That's a good composition. My queens can shoot up. I can transfuse the Ultralisks in front of me, and the Ultralisks murder everything on the ground. Now we have Infestors and Phoenixes and Marines and Archons, so that means that the Infestors can fungal growth the units that sort of freezes them in place, so the Phoenixes can get there and lift them up, and when they eventually drop down, the Archons can maybe take them out, and as long as the Marines don't have anything too scary hitting them, then they can do damage. And when the Phoenixes are lifted up, I guess the Marines can shoot at them as well. What were you guys thinking? What are you doing? What is wrong with you? So now it looks like, of course, the counter to a Phoenix Infestor cannon defense is to just go fucking kill him. And that's the struggle we're seeing out of Violent Snail and friends. But it looks like Archon Marine is coming up. Archon Marine, we have Kalesa having at least a base up. Looking a little bit defended. And Marine Archon. This is the perfect mixture. The Archons have just enough range to die at the front before the Marines have even begun shooting. Here we see Archon number 1 has gotten maybe 2 shots off. It gets a 3rd before dying, getting force fielded apart, and the Phoenixes now are going to kind of help. They're going to help out by lifting that Marine excellent. But unfortunately, it looks like Render is just going to build a bunch of Zerglings, and Zerglings, such an effective counter. He did lift that Stalker, though. That's awesome. Oh, someone in the chat pointed out that Archons can shoot up. That is a good point. This is an awful composition. And in the meantime, while all that great micro is going on, we see a pack of Marauders just killed off absolutely everything that the player has. And then we see Hakiro with his no-stim Marines. He's going to try to move forward, and looks like he does manage to do it. And Sergi, Blue, you get Archons, lol. What are you making fun of? Tank Marauder? What is this? What's the optimum way to deal with Marine Infestors? Well, no problem. Only things that can shoot down. I guess that actually does make a lot of sense. Sergei ain't half bad. I get Archons lots. taking some pride in who he is as a person. Infestor's moving out. And now it's time to try to see if there's any counter pressure that can be applied by our Violent Snail. Haruki Polaris, this guy, Kalesa team, yes. And now I really like this sort of strategy these players are doing, which is just arbitrarily expanding no matter what. And hey, look, we're going to be doing a little bit of lobbying action, maybe. Looking good. Archon count starting to get high. Re-expanding going on. And at this point in the game, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable for our Monobattlers up in the top right. We do have that good old base of Marines. It's like eggs when cooking. It's just a nice solid foundation to work from. Phoenix is trying to be all ninjetti and work around, and it looks like Dan building a lot of missile turrets right here to make sure the Phoenixes can't lift up any of these buildings. Lieutenant Dan, why are you building turrets there, Lieutenant Dan? Oh, we now see Sergi moving up forward through the center of the map. Burrowed, not banelings, burrowed drones. That's going to be exciting, so that way they can... And then they're dead. Nice. Maybe unburrow, suddenly build a hatch underneath there. Lieutenant Dan. I love that movie. I almost want to fall in love with a girl named Jenny. So that way I can be, I love you, Jenny. Jenny. And just quote that movie at like the most inappropriate times, like right when I get out of the bathroom. Just be like, I tried to focus when I was in there, but mostly I thought about Jenny. Oh man, that would be the most amazing 2-week relationship of my life. So now we do see Hakiro, he's going to move forward. Oh, now he has to be careful. He has to pull back from this Marauder tank mix. He has to wait for the Archons to step in. Hakiro, you have to... an omelet with no eggs is not good. A monobattling army with Infestor, Phoenix, Archon, and no Marines is not so good. And in particular, it's not tasty and doesn't have a lot of protein. No amount of hot sauce can fix the lack of eggs that we're having in our analogy, in our comparison between two things that are unrelated completely and totally. But that's fine, because if I force it, it'll work. That's actually, I think, if at first you don't succeed, force it. Is that right? Jenny, you can force it, Lieutenant Dan. So now we see the Infestors are poised to... Oh, hey, look, we have the Phoenixes able to lift up the tanks up. This will allow these Marines that are already dead to feel a little bit avenged. See? Synergy? Well, he's going to have to waste a lot of energy. He's coming back. And now we see the beach balls lobbing up. And with the power of Infestors, Phoenixes, Infested Terrans, Marines, and Archons, it looks like these players have successfully defeated the army of one of the 4 opponents they have to beat to win the 4v4. Lieutenant Dan. Alright, so now we see the Infestors moving out. They're perfectly positioned to die if any scan goes down. We see Render Roaches. And if you thought that Archons were not that good against Roaches, my goodness, you will be surprised how bad they are against Roaches and Marine Marauder and more Archons. And the only backup you have is Phoenixes to look down and maybe like lift up a Marine. I mean, they can't lift up the Archons, they're massive, but that's okay, because Kalesa is killing off Dan's backup base. Lieutenant Dan has just now been given the opportunity to retake his own main base. And pushing is going on in the center. In the resource tab, we have a fucking bunch of information. What are these tabs going to help you look at and understand? I'm closing them. Jesus. Dan has a lot of missile turrets, of course. These are aptly defended. These won't really help defend Phoenix lifts on this side, but they will absolutely help defend the Phoenix trying to lift the planetary fortress from the right. Lieutenant Dan. Oh, what are these missile turrets defending? The other SCVs building nearby missile turrets, and now we do have the Infested Terrans launching up. Born does have a variety of cannons specifically designed to hold off that incoming cannon rush from Violent Snail, who kind of still does have a little bit of momentum going on. But the Render Roaches are the things I think the players really need to be worried about. And, of course, the biting trash talk of Sergi, the man with no money. And now we're going to see Archon Marine versus Roach, and as it turns out, Roach just works against every composition of units. Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much more to say about this. It's looking quite good. Kalesa has a lot of money, can't really do much with it. Here come the Phoenixes. They're getting ready to look at the army. And look, they did. And there it is. See, here they're working together. They're in a unit, and we're going to see the combinations of abilities that they're going to be able to use. Oh, look, they lift up that one roach, and you see the Archons? The Archons were able, they could, kind of shoot. They had to get close. If there were any units there, it would have been a problem, but the Marines were there to push it back, and we have the... Well, it looks like this army is pulling back, so let's see. We have the Phoenixes that are leading. We have the Infestor Archon Marine Army. Polaris going to hold back with his Archons to be able to advance forward. I'm trying to think of the best way to deal with it. Oh my god, he managed to fungal growth some of the Marauders, still lose a couple of Infestors before finally killing off everything with this single pair of Archons. And now we have Render, the Renderlings moving through, trying to reinforce more roaches, and Hakido. If you've seen Akira, then maybe you know what I'm referencing, but that's fine. Did you see what I see? I want to come back for a moment. Hakido has basically not stemmed. He hasn't really stemmed ever in this game. When he was moving through the middle against an army, he didn't stem. When he saw that army of roaches, he didn't stem. And you know when he does stem? When he does stem? Well, I don't know. Let's go to the Hakiro cam and find out. Well, he's looking to see some Phoenixes over here. Oh my god, there's some bases. Ooh. And then he sees a floating building. Holy shit. Kill it as fast as you can. It's a building. What if it lands and builds a mule? I read in a forum in beta that they were imbalanced. Oh, Hakiro, using powers of logic and thinking. Well, well, it's not that he was dumb necessarily. It's just that he got unlucky when he was thinking that one time. He just ran bad when thinking. So now we are going to discover that Marines and Archons take a bit of time. He's finally killing off these missile turrets that will help detect the DTs that are going to morph into the Archons. And there it is. Planetary Fortress finally getting taken down, and holy composition, Batman. Kalesa positioning the Infestors behind. The Marines are there. They've stemmed a lot. We see the Phoenixes have arrived to lift 1, 2, 4 units out of the... Well, let's see, that's 24, that's 48, that's 90, good. Well, I mean, this is at least it's a non-zero amount of units in the air. Let's see the coordination of our Monobattlers in action. So we have a hero, it looks like, oh, he's target firing. He's going to target fire. We see there's an unburrow, and he manages to land 1 fungal, 2 fungal. He gets the hatch. Another one got lifted. And retreat. Alright, so they escape with 115 health Phoenix with not enough energy to do anything. And look at that. Look at what its label is. Look right under the energy. Look at that. Air Superiority Fighter. Excellent. Akira's going to keep making Marines. Kalesa's going to keep hiding expansions. And the one thing that's so funny is we have this Marine here. Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. And he can even get up there. I mean, this thing has a ramp. I hope you caught that. Oh god, that was terrible. Blair is building himself some cannons. And uh-oh, it looks like Sergei. Look at this. These guys are attacking their own units, and Roach's burrowed heal so fast it doesn't even matter. And Render re-expanding. Continuing to build Archons. The one thing that's amazing to me is the fact that Polaris still has gas. I mean, he's building Archons, and he went for triple forge upgrades with all that amazing gas he has. But now it looks like He is moving up to the top left. He's going to be taking this out. And uh-oh, it looks like we have the Infestors moving through the middle of the map. Marines, they're definitely not going to stim against these units because they're not buildings. Now it looks like we see Lieutenant Dan moving up. He's going to be taking out Kalesa's expansions. Akiro doing a lot of damage. Oh, he stims. He manages to kill off some of the units. And he's going to be able to arrive right when that stim runs out. We see it looks like Mutalisks being built, which makes a lot of sense because one of the players is building Phoenixes. And currently has... Hell, God, this is so much data. Look, he has a lot of them. Kalesa now gathering everything together. The Archons engaging of their own volition. And we do see a coordinated attack. Oh, Banelings morphing in. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? It looks like fungal growth, lift the Banelings. He's lifting the Banelings. He's lifting the Banelings. Archons hitting the Banelings. Marines not involved at all. And they're not gonna stim yet. You can't just stim whenever you want, alright? I mean, you can't just... You gotta be an adult. You gotta be responsible. That stim just doesn't come out of thin air. It costs your life, man. Akiro gonna be advancing forward, and there's the stim, and notice that exactly, I think, 10 Marines can participate, but the rest finally managed to work their way through. Violent Snail, a push-up at the top. Uh-oh, doing a lot of damage, and we see Akira. Will he stim again? No. I mean, it's correct not to stim there, but I'm still gonna try to make fun of him for it. And we see the Marines and Marauders from Dan moving down. Born, he is able to pick it off one at a time, and he has to pull back. Guys, you suck. We won. Now, there's a tactic. There's a tactic. At the initial point of the game, be like, you make Archons, lol. And then, right when you lose absolutely everything to quite possibly the worst, least synergistic unit composition in the game, you say, you suck, we won. We got this. Coming back, let's look at some data. We see that Sergi is the only player with no fucking anything. Sergi, you guys are terrible. Like, he literally didn't have anything to even control. And he's like, what do I do with these fingers? I know. At least I'm keeping some APM. Well, hey, oops, accidentally typoed, but that's fine because I don't have fucking anything at all. I have no... Hey, Sergi, do you have any... No, I don't. All right? God, I can't French, all right? Look at me referencing myself. Sergi, he has no money, no nada. Gonna ask for a little bit of help, and oh, looks like no stim going on because remember how irresponsible he's been with his life. Good luck. Polaris! You're so awesome, man. I dig you and your caps lock. Good luck. Oh, man. Doing his hyperbolic sign all day long and his coochie play. Now, it looks like he is building more gateways than makes any sense. He's pulling the mana. 43 gateways is an optimal amount. Archons has 10 hit points. Yep. Sergi discovering... I didn't knew it. Oh, bloody, I didn't knew it at all. Here comes the Mutalisks. One of the strongest counters to the Phoenix is the Mutalisk. You see the Render Phoenix working its way down. Oh no, and Violent Snail gonna violently chase down the Mutalisks that are shift queued away, and they're gonna run the gauntlet running away. The Archons are moving in, the Archons are... They don't... Oh, no, wait, those are the other Archons. Oh, those are Born's Archons. Those are friendly Archons. I like those Archons. They're good guys. And it looks like all of a sudden our Monobattler team... Oh, Render's done, man. He's out. He quits. Kakiro, once again, stimming for a building. Wait, really? 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 I'm just going to keep hitting B. Is this really what he's doing? Is this the building that he was... Look, they're all yellow, and now they're still yellow, and now as we move back there, green. Let's find out what happens. And in the Hakiro cam. Uh-oh. Buildings! Quickly, Stim, take him out! A drone! A treacherous turret that's half finished! Go down here. Quickly, a building! Target fire it with all the might and ferocity. A Mutalisks! Ah, not to be concerned about this. We have buildings to take care of. And indeed, Hakiro. Taking him down! Phoenix has arrived to lift up any leftover larvae. Roach has arrived to do not much at all. Woo! For Funday Monday, Day 9 made me do it. Attaboy, boys. Lol red. What do you mean lol red? More like lol ghostly pink. How are you enjoying that? Not anything of yours, man. What'd you have for your... No! I didn't, and I don't like it. Poor Sergi. You see the Mutalists being able to do some temporary damage, but Phoenixes are reasonably strong against Mutalists. Born has left the game. Polaris holding the center. Marines getting ready to stim. Good way to deal with all these supply depots that are unburrowed. Here he comes. Get ready to... Oh! Stim and engage! Where'd you go, Lieutenant Dan? Stim again. There's buildings here. Here it comes. Yeah. Alright. Looking good. Feeling good. Everything is so good. Man. Some solid gameplay right there. Uh-huh. Great. Perfect. Good. Sergi no longer has any forces. Really? You waited till the 37th minute mark to tell us that? I think he didn't have any forces for quite a while. Which means he doesn't have any buildings now either. Shh. But Sergi did in fact hang in there till the end. He was the last person to leave. Congrats to this Monobattler team. So now you know what the intro game is like. For any of you who have never done Monobattles, it is one of my absolute most favorite things in the whole wide world. Choose one unit, publicly announce what one unit you'll be making all game long, do so for your whole team, and then see the awesomeness of the results. Now, ordinarily I would go to a break right now, but before we go on to the break for part 1 of today's Funday Monday, I would like to share with you the fail game of the Monobattle submissions. We have in the top left Funkster, Silver, and Saucy. Saucy, who has made it on the daily multiple times, I do believe, for failing. In the bottom right, we have the enemies. Ray by the Bay with a DUH for stylishness. Token and Chinky Smiles. I didn't actually check the names of the other team before I chose this. I can't believe that just happened live. Fail game time. Let's find out what the unit composition of our top left players are. Saucy. Marines. Oh, Ultralisk. Medevac. Oh, with an S at the end. Ultralisk. He's going to be making more than one. Now, Medevac Ultralisk is a sick composition in case you've never seen it. Marine Medevac, still pretty good. Marine Medevac, quite solid. Even better when you have two players doing it. So we do see Funkster. He's going to begin by building a supply depot at the front of his base. Silver, trying to stay back a little bit, wants to make certain he can at least defend himself to get those medevacs out as quickly as possible. We see the barracks going down. We see Saucy taking an early expansion. It's going to be kind of safe because he does have these destructible debris there to protect it. He's kind of hoping his opponent doesn't scout it. He needs that economy up so that way he can actually be able to support himself while going Ultralisks. In the meantime, we see Funkster, going for a little bit of a long-term play. He wants to get those Marines up, and then that way he can have the best upgrades possible. Funkster is going to be getting the bunker up. Now, this wall-off does have more holes in it than Swiss cheese. I save only the best jokes for you. Only on Monday do I pull those out. I thought of that joke last Wednesday, but I waited. You didn't hear me talk about that at the Red Bull Land, did you? I was all analysis. Woo! High five me. Go Sean. Yeah. And here it comes. Funkster. He does have a pretty decent defense. This should be enough to repel. Uh-oh, he is getting scouted in the middle. But Saucy. Woo! Saucy going for that economy. Silver doesn't have an orbital command yet. I mean, he doesn't really need any. He doesn't really need the orbital to get that medevac up. And it all of a sudden looks like, oh yeah, there's another entrance over here. Oh no, Funster! Oh no, okay, so it looks like Ray by DeBay, who just built a couple of Zerglings, is doing great. Just running right in, and it looks like SCVs and SCVs, oh no, Micro the Marines, but Funkster's SCVs aren't attacking. Alright, go there. Rats. Oh, butts, I couldn't defend myself. Well, it's okay, at least we haven't lost our orbital commands yet. Well, Silver is going to try to take the opportunity to, I don't know, oh crap, well there's Banelings going down. Well, it also looks like Saucy's expansion taking a little bit of damage. And when the Banelings pop up, let's see where they end up going. We're not dead, right? Correct, Saucy. Actually, you are getting close to being able to build yourself a hive. I mean, you lost your expansion. We have some Marines and Marauders from Token coming out, and it looks like Chinky Smiles just got himself Robotics Bay. I can't actually talk about the orange player with a straight face anymore, so now it looks like, well, those Banelings, wherever they went, I think that we're still seeing a little bit of trouble. Looks like Silver's not going to quite be able to get any of those starports up. Wait, I heard Banes. They actually do some damage? Wait a minute, let's actually follow the story of the Banelings. Saucy, you're actually the last hope for your team. We're not dead, right? No, there's the enthusiasm we saw. Medevacs are on the way. Oh, we lost the Marinas. Ooh. Salvage? Can you salvage something and send me some money? Banes. Yeah, that's right. In the accounting station, we see, God, a lot of data, but not that many workers for Saucy. Amazingly, he only has one less than Ray by DeBay, but that's okay, because the Zerglings are still doing a little bit of damage. Lifting up. Didn't know that if you never build an orbital command, you can actually load up and stay safe. In fact, both of these Terran exploiting the no orbital command technique. More Zerglings coming in. That entrance that I swear I didn't know about. I am so embarrassed. I'm the new guy here. No one really told me about the backdoor entrance. Oh, shit. Oh no, look at him swinging right on in, and Ray by DeBay gonna make that Banelings, and Banelings are gonna be good against this, this honestly no-unit army, but Saucy, he's gonna still try to get those Ultralisks up. We see Token rallying to a place that doesn't really have anything nearby it, and uh-oh, here we comes. Funkster saying, yep, we are done, but there it looks like he's gonna try to take out the Extractor, still rolling in, defend, and it looks like he's gonna be able to escape with almost nothing. Alright, he has two workers. He has a solid one. Alright, and he's building an Ultralisk Cavern with it. Now he just has 5 Overlords. Alright, made an Ultralisk Cavern. I mean, yeah. Saucy, you're the man. And we see that Funkster now landing again. He's probably going to have to lift off in a moment. We see that Silver trying to land, maybe just return himself around money. Yep, run away. It looks like, yep, these bad boys cost 300 minerals. Guys, I need a little bit of minerals. Oh, and there it is. He's going to go ahead and build himself 3 Ultralisks. God, I loved that emoticon so much. This is the awesomest thing I think I've ever seen. Enjoy upvoting that, Reddit. And there it looks like he has about twice as many Overlords as he does drones right now. This command center is protected by the Spinecrawler placement. Now that the Ultralisks are out and ready to go, it's time to... Well, we can't actually fit. We're actually trapped. But that's okay because they're about to come kill us. Let us escape out into the real world. And... well, we did some damage. Ray by the Bay. Ray by the Bay, man. Kicking a man when he's down. Ray, you just did not need to do that, man. You did not. I mean, it's not like you're looking at an opening and he forgets to put, 2 guys into his gas. He only has 1 in there. And you're like, you suck. I mean, like, right now, they have nothing. Let's actually come to the resource tab. It's 68, 77, and 50 food versus 2, 3, and 0. I mean, Ray, looking at this game, examining it, and going, I don't think my opponents are very good. Very rude, and to think, I was going to say GG. That's okay. I mean, you have a command center. It looks like we're at 0, 0, and 2. All you need is a drone and a chair. That is what they say. And GG, indeed. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the fail game of the Funday Mondays. We're going to go ahead and take a brief break. When we go on to part number 2, we're going to see one of the 2 most epic games I've ever seen in my life. Don't go anywhere. Funday Monday has just gotten started, and I can't wait for you to be part of it. Especially Lieutenant Dan.